On November 6th, 2020, King Von would be one of 5 people shot outside Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta.
Shots fired at Sheik in Monaco.
At about 3:20 a.m., a dispute broke out between 2 groups of men outside, quickly escalating into gunfire. 2 off-duty police officers who were on security detail that night also exchanged shots, which prompted a full investigation to determine if the Atlanta Police Department played a role in his death. Here's what was uncovered while retracing his final 48 hours.
Von, look, I break down the wood, I stuff it with Pat, I drop in your boat, I'm pouring up.
On November 4th, 2020, King Von was in Atlanta, Georgia, celebrating the release of his Welcome to O Block album, which had just dropped a few days earlier. His career was skyrocketing, and with each passing day, more people were discovering his music. There was no denying he was on the brink of superstardom, but Von's biggest challenge at that moment was himself. Coming from the notorious Parkway Gardens housing projects on Chicago's South Side, he was deeply rooted in street life long before he ever touched a recording booth. He only turned to rap after beating a murder case in 2017, and his reputation gave his lyrics an authenticity that fans connected with, fueling his rapid rise just a year later. Still, when someone lives the kind of life Von did before fame, it's never easy to let go of that mindset, even after finding a new path through music. This meant he had no hesitation when it came to feuds with other rappers. In Atlanta, a simmering conflict with NBA YoungBoy had been building for months, and on November 4th, DJ Academics invited Von onto his podcast to address it publicly. Von downplayed the tension, telling fans there was no real issue and that the internet was only blowing things out of proportion, unaware that less than 48 hours later, everything would come to a tragic end.
Ain't no rap beef, and it ain't no real beef unless somebody got shot or something, or
You know
unless
what
somebody.
people told me you and YoungBoy was beefing or something like that.
know
You
they
said
be
something
saying
about
that a lot.
what happened, Von? What's going on with you, man?
They be saying that a lot. It's like we got the same interests in hoes, and then you know how the internet will try to make it.
Don't tell me I got problems over girls.
No, it's the internet, gang. It's the you know, they'll try to make it like that because it's the internet.
These tensions had been brewing for months, ever since photos of King Von with NBA YoungBoy's ex-girlfriend surfaced online. From that moment, the two made their dislike for one another clear through a series of social media posts. With artists of their caliber trading shots publicly, it was inevitable that others would step into the mix. One of those people was Quando Rondo, a close friend and collaborator of NBA YoungBoy. Although Von and Quando had once been on good terms, that relationship had soured, and coincidentally, Quando was based in Savannah, Georgia, just a 4-hour drive from Atlanta.
I'm saying though, 63rd dirty ass. I'm talking about.
On November 5th, King Von started his day by gathering his entourage, which included his manager and about 20 others. By 11 p.m., just 5 hours before his death, they made their way to Opium nightclub, where Von was scheduled to appear and promote his new project. Riding in his bulletproof Hellcat, he led a convoy of 8 other cars packed with friends and associates. Around midnight, they arrived, but Von's manager sensed something unusual about him that night. He couldn't quite pinpoint it, but it felt as if Von wasn't himself, almost as though he knew something was coming. Still, they spent a few hours at Opium, where everyone seemed to be having a good time. Fans later shared videos online of Von inside the club, looking normal and smiling. Sadly, those would be the last images we'd ever see of him that way.
Hey, you know, it's all love and this see up shit. I just dropped that on that Welcome to O Block going crazy. I don't want to think about it, you know, going on.
At around 2 a.m., just 2 hours before his death, Von rounded up his crew and they left the venue. According to his manager, everyone assumed they were heading back to the Airbnb, but somewhere along the way, Von's car broke off from the group. Once they noticed he was missing, his team began calling his phone to find out where he'd gone, since it was completely out of character for him to disappear without letting anyone know.
So already confusions were already started. Because normally, if we got an after party or we got anything we're going to, we know as a team. Everybody know to be on point. You know what I'm saying? We're traveling with a real deal gangster, a real stepper. So everybody gonna know how to move. But from that night, I don't know what it was. Maybe it's God timing. I don't know what it was, but Von completely...
Von's manager, and more importantly, his security, were always by his side, and after several calls, they discovered he had rerouted to an after-hours hookah lounge across town. Just before 3 a.m., Von pulled up to Monaco, but chose to remain in his bulletproof car, staying warm as he waited for the rest of his crew. About 15 minutes later, his manager arrived with 6 other cars and climbed in beside Von, once again noting that something about him seemed off, like he wasn't himself. Meanwhile, the rest of the entourage waited in their cars, puzzled about the delay and trying to stay out of the cold night air. After some convincing, his manager got Vaughn to agree it was time to go inside, so he informed the security team. As usual, they did a sweep of the venue around 3:15 a.m. to ensure no threats were present before their entry. Since weapons weren't allowed inside, security left them in the cars. But just as Vaughn was preparing to step into the club, one of his friends spotted Quando Rondo sitting in a nearby vehicle. Whether Vaughn had been tipped off earlier or if it was a coincidence remains unclear, but it could explain why he seemed so uneasy that night. Normally calm, collected, and soft-spoken despite his Chicago background, Vaughn didn't hesitate this time. He jumped out of his car, jewelry gleaming, without knowing if Quando was alone or backed by his crew. Within moments, the two came face to face, and as Vaughn had often said, it was on sight. He swung first, throwing punches before words were even exchanged, and chaos erupted as others rushed in. What Vaughn didn't realize was that the white car next to Quando was filled with his people. At 3:20 a.m., only seconds into the fight, gunfire erupted from just a few feet away, striking Vaughn in the side and catching him completely off guard. The shooter, now known to be Lul Tim, emerged from behind the vehicle, firing multiple shots that hit Vaughn 3 to 4 times and also struck his manager in the leg. The two off-duty police officers working security that night reacted instantly, firing into the crowd as the shootout unfolded.
Come on. Yeah, one man was good. Put the gun down. Put the gun down. Put the hands up. Put the hands up. White jacket. Put the hands up.
It's now confirmed that the bullets which struck Vaughn came from Quando's side, not from the police. The officers ended up hitting 3 people total, one of them being Lul Tim. Vaughn collapsed in the street, clutching onto Quando, until his close friend Muop pulled them apart. By 3:23 a.m., both sides had suffered injuries, and rather than waiting for ambulances, their crews rushed to drag the wounded into cars and speed to the ER. Inside Vaughn's vehicle, witnesses say he remained conscious the entire ride, even reassuring a panicked friend that he was going to be okay. At about 3:32 a.m., just minutes apart, both groups reached Grady Hospital, less than 10 minutes away. Quando even went live, recording himself as he helped Lul Tim into the building, hoping to shield himself in case Vaughn's people showed up looking for revenge.
Come on, you shot. Come on, bit, bro, you got the up. Come on, cuz, just keep breathing, bit, bro. Just keep breathing, cuz.
But that wouldn't be the end. No one else was hurt after the initial clash at the lounge. But tragically, just after 4 a.m., King Vaughn and 2 others who had been shot that night succumbed to their wounds, cutting his life and career far too short. Lil Tim was arrested at Grady Hospital after being treated for his injuries, booked into custody, posted bail the same day, and has since been awaiting trial for Vaughn's murder. When somebody gets killed, everyone connected starts pointing fingers. Relatives, associates, anyone tied to the situation feels the pressure. Rumors fly that, you kill him, they'll come for you. And the cycle of retaliation never seems to stop. It becomes a bloodline of vengeance. People close to the victim fear they'll be next. Others vow revenge. And what follows is the same brutal pattern: arrests, threats, and lives ruined, until there's nothing left but the last man standing.
Somebody kill somebody. Everybody got family. Somebody related to him or somebody cool with him. You kill him. Now everybody that he was close with is trying to kill you. It's a never ending. Or they gonna kill. Let's kill somebody close to him. It don't stop. It's to everybody, all the people that playing the game. It's gone. You see what I'm saying? So it's the last man standing. It's either you're gonna be in jail, you're gonna die.